Why did Jesus accept worship if he was not God? Welcome to our exploration of one of Christianity's most profound theological questions. Why did Jesus accept worship if he was not God? This question strikes at the heart of the Christian understanding of Jesus' identity and his divine nature. Join us as we delve into biblical contexts and theological insights that offer clarity on this topic, affirm Jesus' divinity, and enhance our understanding of Christian faith. In the Gospels, we encounter significant moments where Jesus is worshipped. Firstly, let's discuss Matthew 14:33. After Jesus miraculously calms a violent storm, his disciples bow before him and worship, acknowledging, "Truly, you are the Son of God." Another instance is found in John 9:38, where a man blind from birth receives healing from Jesus. After gaining sight, the man worships Jesus, realizing the divine nature at work. These biblical accounts are pivotal. They illustrate moments where worship is directed toward Jesus, raising essential questions about his identity. Understanding these events requires an exploration of biblical worship and its intended recipient. In Jewish tradition, worship is exclusively reserved for Yahweh, the one true God. Worship involves acts of deep reverence, sacrifice, and devotion, recognizing divine authority and holiness. To worship anyone but God would be deemed blasphemous, a severe infraction in Jewish law. It's within this cultural and religious framework that Jesus' acceptance of worship stands out. When Jesus accepts worship, he signals a self-recognition of divine status, audacious within Jewish customs. This acceptance isn't mere tolerance, but an act proclaiming his alignment with God. By accepting worship, Jesus affirms his divine identity. In Matthew 14:33, Jesus doesn't rebuke the disciples for their act of worship, as would be expected if he were not divine. This response is significant. Unlike prophets and angels in other parts of the Bible who reject worship meant for God, Jesus receives it. His acceptance demonstrates a profound truth. Jesus shared in God's divine nature. The Gospel of John amplifies this narrative. When faced with worship after a miraculous healing, Jesus' response affirms his identity further. The healed man's recognition and worship resonate with a deep spiritual understanding of Jesus as more than just a man or prophet. Jesus' miracles serve as manifestations of divine authority. Acts such as calming the storm, healing the blind, and raising the dead reflect power beyond mere human capability. These miracles position Jesus within the realm of the divine, validating his acceptance of worship. Moreover, his teachings consistently reveal insights into the nature of God. Jesus speaks with authority, often prefacing his teachings with, "Truly, truly I say unto you," emphasizing his unparalleled insight into divine truth. His messages, steeped in wisdom and clarity, further cement his divine identity. Examining how other biblical figures respond to worship offers clarity. Consider Peter, one of Jesus' apostles, who refused worship from Cornelius in Acts 10:25-26, instructing him to stand and asserting his humanity. Similarly, in Revelation, the angel instructs John not to worship him, but God alone. These contrasts emphasize the unique nature of Jesus' acceptance of worship. Unlike others who deflect worship, Jesus embraces it, reinforcing his divine role and identity. Jesus' acceptance of worship plays a critical role in understanding the Christian doctrine of the Trinity. This doctrine posits that God exists in three persons: the Father, the Son, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit, all of the same essence. Jesus' willingness to receive worship underscores his unity with God, helping explain this complex theological concept. Through worship, believers recognize Jesus not as distinct from God, but as a manifestation of God himself. This understanding is central to the Christian experience, impacting both personal faith and communal expressions of worship. Skeptics often question these interpretations, arguing Jesus never explicitly claimed to be God. However, his actions, particularly accepting worship, provide compelling evidence of his divine claim. By focusing on Jesus' actions and the responses they elicited, believers can counter skepticism with biblically grounded insights. Some argue these worship acts were misunderstood or mistranslated over centuries, yet consistent textual evidence across multiple gospel accounts solidifies the understanding that worship was indeed directed rightly towards Jesus. Misconceptions often arise when interpreting Jesus' identity and the nature of worship. Some misunderstand worship as mere respect or admiration. However, biblical worship extends beyond admiration to reverence uniquely reserved for divine acknowledgement. Exploring these scriptural contexts helps dispel confusion, presenting Jesus as fully worthy of worship. Recognizing him as such elevates not only our understanding but also our practice of faith. Worship is foundational within Christian faith, central to acknowledging Jesus' divine nature. It is through worship that believers express their belief in his divinity and identify with his teachings. Worship serves as a conduit for spiritual connection, aligning believers' hearts with God's will. These biblical accounts of worship contribute to a deeper relational understanding between believers and God, encouraging a worshipful life aligned with divine principles. The disciples' and followers' recognition of Jesus' divinity through worship offers profound lessons. Witnessing Jesus' miracles and teachings, they discerned a divine presence demanding reverence. This recognition wasn't just out of tradition, but born from experiencing divine moments. Their responses illustrate a model for contemporary believers, encouraging a personal, experiential faith grounded in the divinity of Christ. Unlike other religious figures or prophets, Jesus occupies a unique role in Christian theology as both fully divine and fully human. This dual nature allows him to bridge the gap between humanity and God, offering salvation through his life, death, and resurrection. Jesus' acceptance of worship underscores this unique mission. By welcoming worship, he invites believers into a transformative relationship with God. The acceptance of worship by Jesus deepens the understanding of the Trinity. This intricate doctrine emphasizes unity among Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, distinct yet of one essence. Worship affirms Jesus' integral role within this triune Godhead. In understanding this unity, believers find clarity and comfort in their faith, recognizing the seamless love and authority of God expressed through Jesus. Engaging with this topic encourages personal reflection, inviting believers to consider their understanding of Jesus' divinity. It's an invitation to explore personal beliefs and deep convictions concerning worship and divine identity. Reflecting on these biblical moments allows for spiritual growth, encouraging a deeper, more intimate walk with God through Christ. In conclusion, the acts of worship directed towards Jesus highlight essential insights about his divine nature. Through his acceptance of worship, we understand more profoundly his identity as God incarnate. This exploration serves to enhance faith and foster a worshipful life aligned with biblical truths. We invite you to further explore these biblical texts and discuss their implications within your communities. Share this video to inspire conversations that deepen the understanding of worship, divinity, and the Christian faith. May these reflections aid your journey towards a more vibrant, meaningful relationship with God, affirming the divine presence and love found in Jesus Christ.